Well, have you ever had one of those moments when you said to yourself, you know what, I think I've messed up? Well, I had one of them moments a few days ago, and I'll share it with you. So we went to visit a organic farm here in South Georgia, about an hour and a half away from here. And now this farm, keep in mind, is a farm. It's a small farm, but they got paid employees to run this little organic farm there. And we wanted to go for a visit because we've heard a lot about it. So we went over there and set up a tour of it and got there. And as soon as we got there, I realized there was some issues. And as we went through the tour there, I realized that they was doing nothing right. I mean, zero right. And it was, everything was in terrible shape, and it was disheartening. Of course, I was very kind about it and just went through the tour there. And I got back in the truck and got ready to leave to come home, and was getting my thoughts together. And I had trying to process all this. And I go through these emotions of, okay, this is normal, to, man, they got some bad information and they applied it in a bad way. Then I started questioning myself. I say, we, the people that are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, that are giving this gardening advice, are we doing this correctly? And I realized a lot of the fault lies within people like me that are sharing our garden, our how-to with you, that we may not be doing it like we should. These people over there were gardening under these systems of these YouTubers in Alaska, San Diego, Michigan, all over. They were getting their advice from everywhere except where they should be getting it from. Now, I don't think I got to worry about them watching this video here. Not that I want to hurt anybody's feelings, because they don't follow the first thing that I tell people how to do to be successful, okay? But they were following, and I've watched some of these videos, they were following concepts and information for people that are in Alaska, Michigan, San Diego, way off somewhere. And you know what? I got to thinking, do I tell people a disclaimer of what we do and where we do it at and where I think this works? No, I've been as guilty as anybody about showing you how we grow our stuff and not telling you that I don't know if it'll work up north or out west or not. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've never been to Washington State, so I don't know if my form of gardening will work in Washington State. I've been to Michigan one time in my life, but I don't know if this will work up there. I ain't got a clue. Do you prune cucumbers? Well, you don't down here in the South, but they were pruning cucumbers when I went to this farm, and they were growing indeterminate tomatoes in a hoop house in June. And they were in there pruning the leaves off of these indeterminate tomatoes, and they would be a cluster of 2 or 3 little tomatoes there, and they were taking the leaves off of them and they were trellising them up in the hoop house. Now, I don't know how well you know about our weather here in the South, but in June we can get to 95 to 100-degree weather easy. What's going to happen to that plant? Well, it's just going to fry. It doesn't have any foliage on it. It's a high tunnel. I don't know why you need a tomato in a high tunnel in June. And it's an indeterminate, which we have a little bit of problems growing here in the deep South. And it was an open pollinated. None of them had any disease resistance. So everything that they did there is totally against the way I do things, and you could tell they was not productive at all. If they make enough there off of that farm to make a tomato sandwich, it will surprise me. But anyway, back to my point of what we can do about it. Now, I've been as guilty as anybody about showing you just the pretty stuff in the garden sometimes. You know, we got weeds, we have to work, we got things we have to clean up, and a lot of times we just show you how beautiful everything is. Well, the reality is, behind the scenes, I do a lot of work out here. Now, I enjoy it, but nobody else comes out here and works in this garden but me. And I enjoy it, it's no big deal. But I don't want to show you the long hours I put in out here, sweat and everything. Just like to show you the pretty, what we can achieve, okay? But the reality is a lot of work goes in this right here. So me giving you the illusion that this doesn't take a lot of work or a lot of effort, I think has been misleading, and I apologize to you for that. Another thing is the illusion of the way we garden and what we do will work anywhere. I don't know that. I know what we do works well in the South. We're very productive. We're very successful with that. And that's what I have tried to provide to you information out there. But I've never told you if you live up north or you live out west or you live way off from here, maybe you shouldn't do this. I don't know, maybe you shouldn't. I don't have a clue. And for me to imply that you can garden like this anywhere, I think it's been wrong in the past. Now I'm under the impression what they was trying to achieve was a no-till organic garden. I'm sure that works up north somewhere. I've never seen it. I've seen things on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, that looked okay. May work, may not. Heck, I don't know. What I do know is you can't be successful growing your food in that type environment in the South. Now you may can grow a squash plant or two with no-till organic. I'm not saying you can't, but to grow a big garden that's going to feed your family, that's not the way to do it. The reason we try to share our information and try to give you as advice is so you can be successful. My whole goal in running this company here, Hoss, and providing information you do in these YouTube videos, at the end of the day, I want you to be successful. And when I see people that put a lot of hard work in and that are not successful, well, it's heartbreaking to me. I know how discouraging it can be. You know, we've had our battles over the years too. But when we do figure out successful methods, successful varieties to use, we want to share that with you. But please take in consideration where we at and the type of gardening we do to be successful. Don't get caught up in fads. Take everything with a grain of salt and try to understand that your goal is to be successful, and to do that you may have to do things that work in your area. Whether you're following us or whether you're following a old timer that lives in your area that's been gardening for a long time and grows a great garden, which is an excellent choice, try to find somebody that's successful in your region area, follow from them and try to learn as much from them as possible, and you too would be successful. Leave all this pie in the sky stuff out there for somebody else.